What's up, my brother?
Fucking legends in the building. Let's
Thank
not get
you.
it twisted.
Thank
For
you.
all the people that don't know, tell them who you are, where you from, and your early start, because I'm gonna unravel some things and get into like the world of where
Right.
it's at and the
Sure.
period and all that.
Sure. So I'm one half of the runners,
Yep.
Maine. My partner, Drew. Together we are the runners. We've known each other since our moms were pregnant together at the same time.
Wow.
He's 6 months. He was born 6 months ahead of me. And then I guess that's been my brother, man. I don't remember a time when I didn't know him, put it that way. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, we just loved music. It just naturally I don't know, it was a calling. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Our first rap album that we fucking banged. Well, we had to sneak and bang it, but it was Doghouse, Snoop. And I remember like me and him having conversations. I think we were probably like 5 or 6 years old, having conversations about, oh my God, did you hear what he said? Oh, or this sound, that sounds crazy, run that back. You know what I'm saying? He moved away, I guess when he was like maybe 11. We lost contact maybe for like 3 years, maybe 3-4 years. And then he called me one day and he was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, man, nice to hear from you too. What's up, bro? How are you? You know what I'm saying?
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
Like we never left.
Right. And then he asked me, what am I doing? And I'm like, yo, I got a keyboard. I got a computer. I'm making beats. It's called Producer. And he's like, yo, I'm doing the same thing.
Wow.
Now, mind you, when he left, we were like not even in like the 4th grade. I think he left around the 3rd grade. Right. And when we reconnected, 13 or something like that,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So that's there's a lot of shit that goes on in a man's life.
Facts.
From being a kid to now,
Facts.
probably smoking your first J, got your first piece of, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's like, hey, this little window of life is going to determine if you go the right way or the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So the fact that we naturally landed on producing separately,
it's crazy.
Was nuts.
That's crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah, you can't make that up.
Right. So then from there, we just started, planning for the future. You know what I mean? Like, yo, once you graduate from high school, let's link up. Let's all like bring it somewhere, like one place where we can call home, and let's be like the next Neptunes. That was our goal. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. What city was that?
Vero Beach. So I'm from Florida. I was born and raised in Florida. He was too.
I see some stomping grounds that y'all were in Orlando for a little bit.
Yeah.
I go down Orlando often, got some family there. What that city meant to you?
It was everything. That was my first time leaving home. That's my first, I think that's where I grew at, I love Orlando. That's where we got started at. So once I graduated from high school, I moved to Orlando. He moved a year later. My principal actually recommended that I go,
That's crazy.
to Full Sail, because I had never heard of it. My first day, like the enrollment where you get your books and you sign up and all of that, like in line, I'm in line. And I met DJ D Strong. You know D Strong from Orlando?
Yep.
My brother.
Yep.
I met D Strong in the line, like getting our books. He was either I was in front of him or we were like this, right?
That's crazy.
So we introduced ourselves to each other. Yo, what's up, bro? What's up, man? Cool. We become friends through this whole Full Sail thing. And long story short, he's my connect to DJ Nasty. DJ Nasty is my connect to, you know what I'm saying, Khaled.
Right there.
Khaled is my connect to everyone. You know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
So it's just crazy how life works.
That's fire, bro. Let's talk about college a little bit. There was a lot of times where they told us, yo, go to school, learn, and then do your dream second. I was the person that dropped out, but I thought I was a statistic. But one thing they didn't tell us about is your Rolodex and who you meet in that time period. It might live with you and work with you for the rest of your life. I.e., I met DJ Drama in college. They're a little older than me, but when I came to school, we met. I met Lake Show, which is another one of my partners. I met Shaka Zulu. They're a little older, but all this became a Rolodex in time. How much of your Rolodex did you make in that time period in school?
I mean, Instagram nowadays, you can be in contact with a lot of people, right? But as far as like on the phone, talking on a regular basis, I would say just Drew. But I do have some lifelong brothers that I've gained while I was in college. You know what I'm saying? Like my crew, like my circle.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in the business,
Gotcha.
but my circle of my boys.
Yeah.
It started there, and some before, but yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Let's get into the keyboards and the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Your weapons of choice when you were young. When you started in the 4th grade, you said?
8th grade.
8th grade, okay.
8th, 7th grade,
Okay.
yeah.
What was your first equipment?
N364, Korg N364. Floppy disk.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started out with just the Gemini mixer, the 8-second sampler, and I used to run my drum breaks on a record and sample on the actual 8-second sampler and record everything to tape. And back then,
like cassette tape. Yeah.
And I had to run it for 2 minutes, stop it, run it for 2 minutes, stop it. But I had to splice the tape for it to make sense.
You actually you spliced the tape?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Cassette tape?
Yes, sir. Then I put it into a karaoke machine and rapped on it.
Wow.
That's how I used to do my shit. Right?
Wow, that's nuts.
So to hear you was on that early, I'm like, damn, you had the floppy disk. I was like, man, I ain't even had that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got that later when the ASR 10 and I got the actual, the box or whatever. I was trying to think, they had the Dr. Rhythm. The Dr. Rhythm I had like early college, but I couldn't do nothing with it. It was mainly effects.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people using it now, like Madlib and all them. But yeah, so that's the first piece of equipment. What was your second piece of equipment?
Computer.
Apple?
I think it was PC at the time. I can see myself in my parents' house, but I can't see the equipment. You know what I'm saying? I just remember there was a time, I had like a makeshift desk, and I had my N364, and I had a computer. And I'm not even sure, like my first program was Acid or some shit, maybe.
Acid?
Sound?
Acid Pro? It's fire.
Something, I forgot. Let me back up. So I play in the church, right?
Okay.
I started in the church.
Tap into that. That's what I was going to get into.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but
go ahead.
I started in the church because this is like the whole equipment thing. So I started playing in the church. I started on drums, right? Started with drums. I don't know why most musicians, they start on the drums. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the church.
Hip-hop, we all start on drums.
Yeah. Morphed into keyboards and then morphed into bass. I've been around musicians my whole life. I consider myself a musician, but I can't play like... I ain't doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I understand it though. You know what I'm saying? I can have that conversation. You know what I mean? I was the preacher's kid on the instruments. So we had a church visit one Sunday. I forget this. I'll never forget this. It's like yesterday. And they brought their own musicians, the Coakley brothers from Chicago. And he had a Triton. After service, after, like the musicians get to play the benediction, that's when we have fun. That's when we play, everybody walking out of church and all that stuff. So I'm walking out of church and I hear Lauryn Hill, but it was a Lauryn Hill record that was on the radio, and I heard it through the church speakers.
Wow.
I heard it coming through the church speakers. Wow. And I'm on my way, I'm just about to walk out of church, and I hear this shit. I'm like, I ran all the way up to the keyboard or to him. I'm like, yo, where's that coming from? Coming from my keyboard. I remade it. I said, what?
Wow. I need that.
I said, what do you mean? You did what? Yeah, I remade it. I said, how? And he kind of showed me. That's when I realized that there's a person that makes the music. It's a job. You know what I'm saying? It's called producing. I always thought like Michael Jackson just, he writes a song and he just sings it and it's just him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know he had Quincy. I didn't know Quincy hired the musicians. I didn't know that he had the engineers recording it. I didn't know anything. I thought it was the artist. He came up with the music and put it out. That's it. So when I found out that you could make music, blew my mind. That night I went home and I stole my brother's N364. And I was practicing, I was programming, I was learning that damn thing.
Oh, wow.
And then I got upgraded to the Korg Triton.
Okay.
So it's always been keyboards, the Korgs and stuff. And then I implemented the computer.
Okay.
And then I started.
You were running the Triton into the computer?
I think so.
Okay.
probably just recording it, like, you know, and I had an audio card.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I was probably just recording, like, whatever I had. And just to probably cut vocals or burn CDs. That's why I had the computer. I had the computer just to burn the CDs.
Yeah, to burn the beats.
Right. So I wasn't, like, doing production on the computer at that time yet. I was just, you know, recording it in and then bouncing it to CDs so I can have. My parents had, like, an office. That was my makeshift studio at, like, 14, 15.
Okay, dope.
And I had the Triton in there. Okay. So, yeah, I think maybe around 99, 98.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all working together, coming together after he'd been producing on one side, you've been producing. You say, yo, we should have a goal. We should become the Neptunes. We should become Beats by the Pound. We should become Organized Noise. Did y'all have like a scope of what each person was going to do? Or y'all was like, yo, you can do drums on this, I'll play, or you play, I'll do drums, or we going to sample together? Like, how did y'all come up with like what y'all really want to do to like go on the quest of making these records?
Right. So from the time that we reconnected at like maybe 14, 13 to the time, you know, he was 18 and he came down and we actually like linked up together.
Yeah.
During that time, I would go to North Carolina. He would come down to Florida.
That's dope.
And we would, you know, work together, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that throughout the years. And then once we finally made that move to Orlando together and we started working, it just naturally like shifted. Our roles in our group naturally just kind of formed. Like I was more of the music side,
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? I was kind of just always like ahead of him, you know what I'm saying? In that lane, and then he just naturally just went over here to the business side. So he was just like, yo,
that's how usually it starts too.
Yeah.
A lot of crews I see was like, bro, I'm strong in the business. I'm gonna go get us this money.
Yeah.
The interns is one of them. And them guys is like, they made a run based on, yo, you cook, I'll go shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a long time, Rico Wade was a shopper. You know what I'm saying? So he went and shopped. He went and did he went to do the dance with all the artists. You know what I mean? Talk to him about buying the record.
That's a movie. That's
yeah.
I mean, boy, you gotta be the right type of person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit ain't easy.
Nah, it ain't. Let's jump into like your first couple records. I know when people don't believe that my first record wasn't Go Crazy with Jeezy and Jay-Z. My first record was with Slick and Rose. It was a Japan record.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a record that came out before your first placement that you never told people and was like, yo, that was really my first placement?
It's between the two. I think it's Murder, Murder, Joel Santana. Murder, 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 Murder. It's either that one or Does Anybody Know Where I Can Get into Contact with Joe? Or, does anybody know where I can get in touch with Joe? It's Fat Joe album through DJ Nasty. He got me that first placement. I think that was the first one. It was either that or Murder Murder. Yeah.
He's like, bro, I don't even know the two.
Yeah, so long ago.
Yeah, Murder was a joint though.
Thank you.
Murder was a joint.
I want to say it was a Fat Joe shit because Murder was like, yo, that's my sound.
Yeah.
So I think that came later because I discovered my sound. I just like ran up on the sound of like, you're mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know how I go.
Yeah,
you know how I go.
Facts. There's another thing that's not talked about enough in that time period is the drops. I had the Canon drops. You had your drop. Where'd the drop come from?
Honestly, that just came from me just going through samples and I couldn't even tell.
Notorious, bro. Shit was notorious.
You know what I'm saying?
You heard that, it was like, oh shit, they got another one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was like when I heard it, I was like, oh, maybe that's running or something. It's like, yo, when you're done running, you're, damn, I'm tired. I don't know. I know it's corny as shit. I mean,
nah, it's fire, bro.
Even how we came up with the name is corny as fuck. I'm like, yo.
Now it's making sense. The breath, the run.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, shit.
I'm just trying to make it make sense. I'm not sure if that's how it happens. I'm sitting here with you. I'm just trying to make it sound good.
Fuck me up right there. Damn. The runners. Damn, dog.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And so we came up with the name. Basically, it's like, yo, you know, we on a track. What do you do? You know, a track is the music. We call it the same shit. Track, record, track.
Yep.
What are you doing? Oh, shit, we running on the beats.
Oh, he fucking me up right now.
We running the beats.
Oh,
so we the run.
Shit. Running track. Oh, fuck, dog. Damn.
Yeah, we were kids, man, but I'm glad it stuck.
Man, y'all did that. I ain't gonna fucking lie. Shit, 20 years later, I'm like, oh shit, I ain't even put that together. Cause then I'm just like, oh, it just makes sense. But I didn't know. But now it makes sense in the world. I mean, Khaled was one of the first person to send us beats. And I want to say Nasty did too. You know what I'm saying? They were sending the joints out. I know you was on Drum's album. You did A with Dro and Big Country. He don't remember that. But that was way back.
Sounds familiar though.
Yeah, way back. In that time period, we were just running it. Like y'all had money on my mind. And at that time, I was also DJing. So I had to play these songs back to back to back. Everything was going with the Gangsta Grills. So that time period was just epic. Do you have anything in that time period where you felt like was monumental for y'all outside of y'all records? Like, what have y'all seen? What have y'all done in that period where it was like, yo, that's monumental? Like, besides having Hustlin, besides having money on my mind, besides that.
Like, Florida was back on the map, and we had our own sound.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we were instrumental in bringing Miami back on the map in a new way. Right. You know what I'm saying? Doing that record for Ross opened the door for us to do like Born and Raised in the County of Dade. You know what I'm saying? Miami Anthem, and then just spreading that sound like for down south artists, and you know, mostly here, right? But just giving Miami like a new sound.
Birthed a lot of things in the South. Not only Miami, so you know, won't say flowers. We're gonna get the trophies out for that time period and what y'all meant to everybody moving around at that time. Growing up, were there any artists or producers you was like, yo, besides the Neptunes, I want to work with them. We're going to be them. I grew up trying to be DJ Premier. You know what I'm saying? As I took the training wheels off, I turned into myself.
Right.
But I was like, yo, Dr. Dre mixed the records the best.
Right.
How can I get my shit to sound like that?
Right.
Dilla Groove was different. How do I get like that? So I'm taking little pieces out of everybody's book. Timbaland's sampling world music that I never even heard in my life. I'm like, yo, where the fuck does he find that at? You know what I mean? So I'm going through these things. I'll give you the artist. I want to work with Jay-Z. I was spoiled working with him on the first record I ever put out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that like canceled out. Stevie Wonder was one of the people that I still haven't ran into that I'm going to call it if I get with Stevie. I don't give a fuck what age it is, what time period. Is there somebody that y'all grew up like, yo, if we get to that, we on?
Well, Dr. Dre was our first.
Okay.
He's the.
I think everybody.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as like the whole marketing and, you know, being a duo, being a household name, you know, being innovative, having your own sound, you know what I'm saying? That comes from the Neptunes and, of course, Timbaland. Even the Track Masters, you know what I'm saying?
Track Masters.
You know how they had that snare that, you know what I'm saying?
Track Masters.
And then as far as artists, we're kind of the same boat. Yeah, as far as like being spoiled, because I remember when I first heard Jay-Z on the Hustlin remix, I was like, nah, this can't be this can't be happening this quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, first year in the game, you talking about I got hold on it?
Bro.
Nah, this can't be happening.
Insane, bro.
You know, and Jeezy on that thing too.
Insane.
Said, oh my gosh. Any creative, that's basically, you know, that's who we are.
Yeah.
We're just a regurgitation of everything that we love.
Facts.
And we just, you know, we throw it up in a certain way that, yeah, that's your saliva. That's your throw up, motherfucker. That's your sound. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, and then the artist that I'm still dying to work with, nobody will believe this, but Coldplay, the band Coldplay.
Wow. That's different.
Chris Martin.
I would have never thought that one.
Chris, if you're listening.
Chris is listening.
Tap in with Don Cannon. No, yeah, hit Don Cannon to get to me now.
Wow, Coldplay. Yeah. What's about Coldplay that makes you want to work with them?
Growing up, I've always loved all type of music, right?
Yeah.
Like a fan. Nirvana. Yeah. When that Teen Spirit hit drop,
crazy.
I was like, oh, in the video,
crazy.
Oh, my nuts. I mean, Coldplay is just the best of me, man. It's like,
nah, they won't.
You know what I'm saying? The way
Hall of Fame.
The way Chris writes, the longevity of them too. You know what I mean? Like they started 99, and they're still, you know, touring the world, still trying to be innovative. You know what I mean? But yeah.
So it's safe to say that y'all listen to all kinds of music.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you listen to Marilyn Manson?
No.
Listen, Nirvana, of course.
Yes.
Right. Coldplay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Radiohead.
Radiohead.
U2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's a good one. Madonna.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say a couple names, and I want you to tell me what they mean to you. DJ Khaled.
Brother, mentor.
Trick Daddy.
The mayor.
The mayor.
Yeah. The mayor.
Trina.
What's the mayor's wife? Like, what is it? Mayorette?
The mayor's wife. The mayorette.
Shit, I don't know. Well, yeah.
Crew.
Pioneers.
Pioneers.
Also Freaknik. When I think Freaknik, boy.
Freaknik. Yeah.
I think about that. Oh, that's Freaknik.
Yeah, Freaknik. Obviously, we talked about Nasty already. Cool and Dre.
Brothers.
Okay. Miami bass music.
Dope, needed. You know, it was really nothing I was like into like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't riding my whip, or I wasn't driving then. But anyway, I would say definitely needed, respected for me. I love it, respected. But yeah, that's like, I didn't really like, you know what I'm saying? Like that didn't touch me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That time period, nah, that didn't like sit with me like, oh my God, I want to, this is, other than seeing the girls at the little school dance doing something, Tootsie Roll,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
I mean, it inspired me, when I came down here. I've told this story before, but when I did the Cannon remix with Wayne, I was initially doing that record for Trick Daddy. And I was trying to figure out what Miami-based song can I sample to get him to like, my style of music. East Coast type of beats. What I did was I was listening to all of them down here at Circle House, but I wound up going and get the original samples for each one and just give it like that same feel, but not the actual record. And the way I'm chopping them is different. So that was my intro to bass music. And like you, I didn't ride around, but Freaknik, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't riding around listening to it and doing. Let's get into a little trouble. What's one of your favorite records that you produce? It's always hard for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody don't want to say their best record.
Only one?
One record.
I would say, for this one reason only, cheers, Rihanna. Drink to that. I'll drink to that. Cheers,
man, I know
Rihanna.
why that's the best. He got a check.
Yeah.
That check was crazy.
But, Hustlin was like a blessing and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because of, you know how it is. You put out Smash, now you got to redo it again, you got to do it again, you got to do it again.
So that's all people asked you for.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Over again.
And so when you try to do that, but you know that there's more there, you know what I'm saying? So we've really fought to branch out quick. And that was spearheaded by Drew, I would say as well. It's like, yo, we gotta branch out. You know what I'm saying? We just can't stay here in this, in this genre. We need to start branching out. So Cheers, we did that in 2010. So from our first, when Hustlin came out, 2005 to 2010, those 5 years, we were flying down writers. We were learning how to write records. You know what I'm saying? Like really learning how to.
KC?
Yeah, KC, yeah. Shout out to my brother, Kevin Cossum.
That's my man.
Yeah, right. Spending a lot of time with him, flying other writers down, learning like the process of writing a song.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Crafting something from, a word or an idea, sitting down with the writers and, figuring out. Cheers was a product of that 5 years. That was our first time.
5 years of learning.
Yeah. And Cheers was the product of that. So I'm very proud of that because, that's like, yo, when you're on the biggest stage, you know what I'm saying? And when you perform on the biggest stage, it's like, yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that.
How did you get to Rihanna? How did that happen?
So that was a song camp, writing camp in LA.
Okay.
I think it was 2010. This is for her Loud album. And again, Khaled was in Def Jam. So we had somebody in there to fight. He had to fight to get us on the to get us in that camp. Because then again, we were just hip hop producers. Not only within those 5 years we're learning and practicing how to write songs, we're actually fighting, trying to get on an R&B project. We're fighting other, we're trying to get with other artists besides rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we've been fighting for a long time. Like, yo, you sing, fuck with me. Come on. Yeah. No, I don't only just do rap. You know what I'm saying? So again, shouts out to Khaled and his relentlessness. I think we were there for maybe about 5 days.
Y'all brought the record, or y'all was y'all cooked that up from scratch?
We made it. Wow. We made it there.
Wow.
We made it there.
Wow.
And I think it was the last record we made. It was a rough patch. We were making shit that was dope. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 2 records a day. This was the last 2 days, our last set of writers, right? Made a smash. Right there on the spot.
A smash.
And that was the last song. That was the last idea we landed on for that day, I think. I think we had did 2 ideas before. It was like, yo, let's just. Stacy was like, Stacy Barth. Shout out to my girl, Stacy Barth.
Yeah, Stace, what's up?
Yeah. She was like, can we just play just some songs that I like? She's a queen. You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
And so we just started playing records. She played like shit that just like shit I grew up on, like Alanis Morissette. She played something else. And then she played the Avril Lavigne record. And then, it got all the way to the bridge. And I heard the, yeah. I said, stop. I was talking to my engineer. I said, record this. Play it again. It was like an instant, like, you know what I'm saying? Dopamine dump. Like, oh my God. Woo. And I'm like, I'm the only one that can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. I said, yo. Told my engineer Jeff at the time, record this. Recorded it. I went to Pro Tools, I chopped it, and I sent it back to myself. Then I said, y'all give me this, like, I said 10 minutes, but it took me like 45. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there in the headphones and shit, and I cooked it up and I played it for him. Then we just started writing the song.
Wow. That's crazy.
Like literally, like sitting together with them. Like, let's change this melody, let's try this, like really.
Who was the first person that walked in and was like, this is smash?
I got a funny story about that. Nobody really walked in on their own. I went and got them.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right? So I had to get gang vocals, right? In these writing camps. You know how it is in these writing camps, right? Like, nobody, like, really, like, you see each other in passing. Yo, what's good? And that's it, right? I'm not going to be in your room. Even if we homies, I'm not going to be sitting in the corner of your room. You know what I'm saying? And just like, bird watching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I went in everybody's room. And I said, hey, are y'all about to record something? Are y'all busy? No? Oh, come here.
Come listen
Boom.
to this.
Come check this out.
Oh, you got all your shit.
I went in everybody's room. I got even John Baptiste, brought him in. He was working in the room. I brought him over. I got everybody.
Right.
And I brought him in there, and I said, y'all listen to this. Ding, 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 yeah. Oh, let the Jameson sink and I drink to that. Yeah. I'm just priming them. I'm just like trying to see which one of y'all motherfuckers ain't bobbing y'all head. Y'all crazy. I'm just looking at everybody. I'm like, which one of y'all motherfuckers? And everybody's like, I'm like, ooh, we got one. I'm to myself, ooh, we got one. And then I said, okay, y'all heard the lyrics? All right, listen, so I need everybody. Cheers to the freaking weekend. I drank to that. Yeah, passing out shots to everybody.
Wow.
This is the whole studio.
Sold it.
Like every writer and producer that was supposed to be grouped up and brought them all into my room.
Wow.
And got them all on the record.
Wow.
So there wasn't one person that came in and said, yo, this shit fire. I went and got everybody.
Everybody said it was fire.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, let's go back to the initial reason we were here is Hustlin.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck made y'all make that record, bro?
I don't know, man.
Don't.
Yeah, I have no explanation.
We got to get into it, man.
I honestly have no explanation. Only thing I can say is that my father passed away maybe like a year ahead of that. And, on his deathbed, I said, yo, Pops, it's okay. I got us. You can go. I got us. And then maybe like 30 minutes later, 7:14 p.m., I'll never forget it. I said, I got us. I went home back to Orlando, and I literally locked myself in my room, my apartment, and I just started banging out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because now, it was on me now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that mind state drew me to come up with the lyrics every day I'm hustling, because that's what I was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The inspiration drew you. Before we jump into this, what was the original piece of equipment that you did this record on?
No, it was a computer.
Okay.
But the program was Reasons.
Reasons?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Reason.
Reasons, and then I slaved Reasons into Pro Tools.
Okay.
Because, Reasons at that time, they didn't have VSTs.
Plugins.
Yeah, it's all, the refills and all that shit.
Yeah.
I also was rocking with Ableton as well.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've worked with them all, to be honest with you.
Right. What's your weapon of choice now? Is it
Studio One and Fruity Loops?
Studio One is good.
Yeah, Studio One is like when I'm just on my pop shit or my country shit or whatever. Anything just I don't need to bang or all vocals, I record into Studio One.
Okay.
So Studio One is my Pro Tools. I'm good on Pro Tools as well, but Studio One is my Pro Tools because I can produce in there as well.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I do everything.
it's hard to produce in Pro Tools.
Yeah, right.
Arrangement, good. Producing,
it's rough.
Tough. What was the first thing you did when you was tacking this? What was your mindset? And was it for Ross, or was it just I'm making beats for the day, or was it like, hey, I'm gonna make this and it's gonna be
That I can't tell you.
Okay.
What I can tell you though is my natural instinct now, 20 years later, I would say I'll start with the organ, right?
Okay.
I'm usually like a melody guy first.
Okay.
And then I do drums.
Okay.
But I would say I probably started with the organ for this one.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into the organ. That's the church in them already.
Yeah.
Straight to that.
Yeah. Actually, I think oh man, you're taking me back. Yeah, okay.
And this organ was what?
So this was in Reasons.
Okay.
So thank God they have the Reason Rack plugin.
Facts.
I can go back and grab some of my same shit that I was using back then.
But
Reasons was fire though. I mean,
Reason had to knock.
Yeah.
Reason had to knock for sure.
Yeah. And I didn't know that until I didn't know Reasons had to knock, right? I learned the hard way. I didn't know until I moved to Logic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit. Logic, you gotta color that motherfucker like a coloring book.
You gotta do too much, bro. Right? And back then I wasn't versed in, on EQing and mixing and the science, you know what I'm saying? Because in Reasons it's like, yo, whatever I'm hearing, boom, boom, it's done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I put like a little compressor at the end, it's done. I bring that workflow into Logic, and then it's like, oh, yo, Khaled cussing me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, your shit ain't knocking no more, man. I'm like, you crazy. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So thank God that I can bring all my old stuff into any DAW now with this plugin. So, yeah. Nope.
That's so crazy, bro. That organ, it came from the organ, and this is church.
All day.
I asked this question to Rance and Mars from 1500 or Nothing. They came out to church. Did you have family members went against you because we were doing this type of music versus?
No. Not at all.
So there's a lot of times where people was like, bro, I had a hard time actually coming from the church going to this music. A lot of people just like, went through a rough patch with their parents, a rough patch with their cousins and aunts and stuff like that.
I would say I'm blessed in that sense because my parents were real supportive. Actually, we made a deal. It was like, yo, let me go to this music school for the first year, and then I'll go to college.
Dope.
But let me do this first. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So I did that first, and then I went to community college, and then it popped off like a year later. So I was like a year into community college. Shit popped off. Never looked back.
And it was like, you ain't got to go.
Yeah,
I did the same thing.
sure.
My mom, I came home and showed her a check, and she was like, well, you look like you doing your thing.
Yeah.
You do what you could do.
So from there, I probably moved to the horns.
This was all reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Reason sound incredible, man.
Yeah, they do. Really do.
I mean, when we were making these records too, we knew some of those sounds that we needed. Like we needed organ, we needed horns, we needed strings. Those are things that we needed. So as it's coming together, I'm getting it now. I'm like, okay.
Right. It's like, yeah, when you break down the ingredients, you're like, oh, this is the shit that we was using in that era. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say I had another layer playing it high, probably. So I'll just copy in there. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's it.
And then next to that, fuck, we gotta do the.
Incredible.
And then I probably just pasted that.
That was a Reason choir? God,
Yeah.
Damn, Reason.
So, but you know what? No. It was a refill.
Okay, yeah. So the refills were okay. I get it.
So this was a Kai refill.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't stock.
But it was a refill.
Yeah.
And everybody had those refills. I think I had 250 gigs of refills. I never touched Reason in a day in my life. But I had the refills because they were working other things. They would just be a little different, but I used them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yo, that's
so
so crazy.
I know what that means.
That's so crazy. I think we got the same refill pack.
We probably
My shit was
that shit was
256
floating, bro.
gigs.
It's the same joint. I still got it. It was floating.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was floating.
And then I don't have the sound, but I found the stems. But this is a reggae, just a guitar strat that I put on. I put a delay on it to give it that dub plate vibe.
Okay. Crazy. Crazy.
Oh, we ain't ready for that yet. Hold on.
Crazy. Dun, 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 dun.
And then, earlier when I said we're nothing but just like, we just regurgitate everything that we love and everything that we hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I call it filling the well. You know, it's like our water well. I'm just pulling from the well, pulling from everything that I love, all my, and this next move is from the GOAT. Like the GOAT always had, where am I? Right here. He always had big horn stabs, right? Dr. Dre, that's what I'm talking about, just in case you're a little lost, you know. Dr. Dre, the GOAT. I think I did this like every one downbeat, so. In the right key will help. In the right spot will help as well. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Just one, and then put that in the right key. Yeah.
So when you're adding, you're going into a space of knowing what you want, or you're just trying things. Sometimes we know what's going to work.
Yeah.
Or did you just like, man, I'm just trying shit? Because we also use it as a coloring book and sketching and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Right. I'll be the first to tell you, bro. I don't know what the fuck I've been doing.
Just sketching.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is like a fucking. For me, everything is like I'm throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah.
If it's stick, it's stick. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of stressful for me though. You know, sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I be in there thinking like, yo, because you just don't know what the outcome is gonna be sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
So yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro. I'm just lucky, man.
Man, that's the magic. We talk about this all the time. That's the magic in it when you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But in this era, I was so big on having a sound, you know what I'm saying, curating my sound to where I would use the same instruments over and over.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
So
they started working.
See this go. So just a little stab. And then.
I think everybody was trying to find this sound for about 10 years. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is a combination of two sounds. You got the horn and then you got.
Right.
You know.
It's a combination.
Then that's where you get that in your face.
Crazy.
So I usually just stack shit up and then I start formatting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of people are either all sample or all play, and you're a little bit of both. Between even a couple records that you have, like you've got some samples, you got some plays. So it's crazy because for a long time I could play by ear, but I was like, man, I'm where the dust is at. I'm trying to figure out how to manipulate the sample the best way I can. But as I'm saying it, it's like, okay, in this particular instance, you playing a lot, but then you'll hear something like Cheers, and it's like developed from a sample. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to see.
I did a bass line, I think. See, I had to help myself out, right? I had to say, okay, now you need to put a bass line here. And I mean, 20 years ago, I'm like, whew. But you know what? I gotta say, first of all, I gotta take a break. I gotta say thank you for this opportunity.
Question.
Number two, thank you for like forcing me to go back and revisit my young self.
Yeah.
You know, searching for these files was like therapy for me.
I seen the Western Digital.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Yeah, that's the first time it's been on in 20 years. So
yeah.
But thank you for that, for the opportunity, forcing me to go back, cause you know, I had a lot of fun. I was innocent.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was green. I was a creative. My creative freedom was just it didn't have no. It better be a hit.
Right.
On it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just like, yo, free flow, you know?
Yep.
So that was like therapy for me, to be honest with you.
That's what's up.
Going through these files.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go sit down and really go through everything.
Yeah, you're going to go back like, damn, I was on something. I go back and listen to my old mixes and like, damn, dog, you was just so reckless. It sounded so good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying so hard now to make sure everything is clear. It's like, bro, I didn't have no fun with the shit no more. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get back to where the fun is at.
Right.
I'm like, damn, you was just doing anything. Like, that's the fun part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Child's play, man.
Yeah. Facts.
So, baseline. So this is for, you know, we had intros back then, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like cinematic, theatrical, it had to be that. So. Let's see. Yeah. Bass line.
Live bass line, no 808 right there, right?
Right. This is just for the intro. I'll just copy that over.
Being a musician is everything, bro. I couldn't figure that out. I couldn't figure that out.
What I need to figure out is why this fucking keyboard ain't got a delete button on it. That's what I need to figure out. There it is. Come on, somebody. Copy that over. There we go. That feels like 2005.
There it is.
What else is in there? I know everybody's waiting. Where's the sample at? Where's the fucking vocal at, man? That happened last.
Okay, so we're gonna get to it last.
Yeah. So this, I'm building out the whole beat like this, and then it probably happened like the next day. Don't hold me to that. But I think it happened like the next day. The final touch was the vocal. I think that happened the next day. All right, so.
The infamous kicks.
Yeah, and this kick probably just came from a refill.
So you heavy on drums or heavy on music or heavy on both?
Meaning, like, what do you mean?
Like I'm a drum guy. I like the music, but if the drums ain't hitting, I can't focus.
Yeah, I'm heavy on both then.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's like like I want to hear like certain things, not all things, but most things is like the music for me, chords and stuff. That's the emotion.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Then when you pair that with the last most important instrument, which is a vocal.
Yep.
You know, the marriage between the two, I'm really big on that.
Got you.
And then the drums, you know, depending on the vibe.
Yeah.
The drums got to play its part. Definitely need the knock, but
for sure.
So that's why this is like, the music takes you on starts with the organ, then the choir comes in, and then it's the bass line. Then you think it's gonna drop, but then we keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's dum boom. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it was all that emotion that I was trying to get out. I just wanted that shit to feel it.
Fire.
What we doing? I forgot. Drums.
You got kicks, yep.
So yeah, that's like I probably did something like that. Snares, yeah.
Roll.
So mind you, everybody want to know, yo, how you used to get those, like, them I'm So Hood crazy feels and shit like that?
Yeah.
Nigga, I ain't play them shits. I probably did like the And then I sat there and I said,
Man, fuck it.
Yeah. Yo, you know, whenever you go back and listen to I'm So Hood, I think that took me like a whole day.
What's the
for
whole?
like the drum, the crazy like drum fills and the drum rolls.
That's crazy.
That took me a while. I'm not doing that ever again nowadays. It's, you know,
Yeah.
I'm kind of now like how you are now, but I like how you always been. You want the drums just, yo, hitting hard, simple, yo, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I want the vocal to get in the pocket and just create a different vibe.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, no, this is my last beat in life. I got to show you everything. Y'all remember? I remember Khaled was in a Def Jam meeting one time, right? You know, he was A&R over there.
Yeah.
So he was playing our music, and one of the guys in the meeting was like, yo, the Runners beat's hard, but why does every beat sound like it's the last beat that they're ever gonna make?
Niggas is hungry.
Yo, when he told me that, I was like, okay, you trying to tell me something. All right, let me just bring it down a little bit.
Man, you go hard.
All the way. You have something? Throw it in there.
Right.
So let's just fast forward in life, right? And let's say, oh, man, yeah, I sat here and I played all that. I played the drum fills and all that, and then this is what you got. Hi-hat. Oh, clap.
Crazy.
My 808.
808 game.
Yeah. Now, this is definitely not the same 808. I listened to that 808. I'm like, yo, that 808 is weak as a mother. You know, today's standards. So I said, you know what? Let's just do a 2025 and let's give it like the new vibe, you know?
Hell yeah.
A little bit more beef. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And you know what's so crazy though? Let me fly this down. What's so crazy is, you know, we don't talk about getting flowers, you know what I'm saying? We do medals, but
Yeah.
and I'm gonna jump out and say this. Where's my medal for? You know, I created.
Well, you got him. You got
Fact check. Pull it up, fact check. When has there ever been a rap record, before Hustlin, when niggas was using the 808 like a bass line? I'll wait. I'm dying to know. Did I do this? Did I create this or not?
We're going to fact check it.
Please.
We definitely going to fact check it.
Please.
Somebody going to call it out.
Please.
Somebody going to call it out.
But really though, like, think about it, like the bass line, because it was always just one.
Yep, on a one. In the same key, yep.
Yeah. And sometimes in a whole different key.
Yeah.
But because of my church background, I'm like, I didn't hear this as a drum. The 808 to me is not a drum. It's bass. It's like
bass.
it's no different from
It's a sign.
right?
Yeah, it's a sign.
So, you know, in my early days of you know, learning production and shit, I clicked on the 808, but then it was like, yo, this clashing when I go to this chorus. Why don't you just go like that and it's followed like a bass line? Somebody told me that. I think, you know, you're the first one. So I'm going to roll with it, though.
So we're going to have to give you the championship belt for that one.
Fact check.
That's if it's a fact check on it.
Yeah. Pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure one of the niggas was like, but nah, we're going to edit that out. I am. the beat's hard, right? I was thinking about this today. I'm like, I wonder, is that a component that made this shit so like groundbreaking though? Because of the 808 was moving like it was like a, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. That was a big piece. That's all I heard. I was trying to emulate that. I was trying to figure out like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, it was a time period where, again, you had the gift and the curse, right? I had the gift and the curse, where everybody came to me to go crazy over and over again. So I'm like, bro, I'm not going to be getting beat in the head for these samples for the rest of my career.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
How can I get to where those instruments were played in that record, I could actually be the Curtis Mayfield? And this was one of the records that was like, yo, giving me a fucking headache. Because I'm like, bro, all the elements are there that I need to make, you know, the East Coast type of South beat I was making. So I'm listening to every texture, every moment in the song, and I'm like, damn, the 808 is different. How the hell they did that? You know what I'm saying? I had the drums down, but I'm like, damn, you can't play. You need to start trying to play. You know, I bought a motif, start trying to fuck around with chords.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you hear these elements, I feel like that was one of the elements that was driving the beat was the 808, because
Right.
it was such a different thing.
Yeah.
I was just on the one, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Same
right.
key,
Right.
and making it like that. This is like a
Right.
movement. So
And I didn't even like think about it. Like again, my mindset is like, yo, a bass line follows the root note of the chord,
Yep.
right? So that's just my mind at the, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even think about the 808. It's not supposed to move. I didn't even think nothing of it until maybe like 5 years ago. Somebody kind of, you know, brought it to my attention. You know, 808s weren't following the chords and shit like that at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yep.
So I did create that. Nah. So, okay, and then I had, this is a stock reason patch from Subtractor, this sound right here.
Subtractor's the shit.
Yeah.
I heard that sound too.
Yeah. That's Subtractor as well.
Wow.
And then, what else we got?
I'm seeing all these sounds. How do you know when a beat is totally finished, or do you keep adding or subtract later in post production?
It's a feeling, but again, remember I said I used to throw the kitchen sink and the bath water with the bathtub. So for the past 10 years, I'm like, okay, what's the main important thing what's the one element that we really need? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then start taking shit out. I still just throw shit at the wall. Like I put it all in there, and then I'll probably step away, come back, and then start stripping away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Removing like almost half of it, and be like, yo, am I missing anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you know, over the years we practice, talking to all the new ones, all the newbies out there, with practice, you get a feel of, okay, yeah, this is done. Let me put the most important instrument on there, which is the vocal, and then you're gonna feel like you had a finished product.
Yeah.
Back in the day, around this time before I got on with this record, I used to download acapellas.
Yep.
And
We
just
all
create
did.
beats, yeah.
Yep.
And just create beats to acapellas.
Yep. I did the same thing. DJing, I had all the acapellas. I would just start with making the beats from them drinks.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So it's a feeling. But with this one, once I threw that hook in there, it was over. Now I was like, nah, we're done.
That one right there, that's how you know it's over. It's like, when I
Yeah.
put this hook, y'all
Nah.
got me fucked up.
Yeah. When I,
Every day
yeah.
When I put that in there, it's over.
every day I'm hustling.
Who the
So
fuck and why the fuck?
Who the fuck is an artist I was working with at the time. His voice was crazy. His voice is crazy. I tried it with my voice, and you know, every day. I said it, how did I say it? I'm hustling every day. I'm hustling every day. I'm like, nah, I ran with it. It didn't work. It didn't work. And then he said it, and he messed up. He was like, "Yo, so what you want me to say? Every day I'm hustling, or no, I'm hustling every day." I said, "No, the first one. Every day I'm hustling. That's what I want you to say."
Hard.
Right. And also, what's crazy is he said it like he said it to like raw tracking, no tempo, no nothing. So, and he said it in his regular voice. So he's like, "Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling." So then, all right. So let's say
Every day I'm hustling.
that's like his regular voice.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Right there. That's his regular voice.
Wait,
right?
what?
Every day I'm hustling.
That nigga's voice was crazy.
Yeah.
I would have just had him do a bunch of shit. I'm about to do
Yeah, he
this shit.
did. I mean, Money on My Mind.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
A few other things. Cocky Legs. That was on Ross's Port of Miami.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day
Yeah, it was like around here, right? Definitely too fast for the beat. So the reason why it's screwed down is because I just wanted to tempo match it.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day
And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's the tempo, and it happened to be screwed down.
That makes sense. Because look, I was about to say, it's no way in the hell that artist had the voice of a screwed record. I was about to be like, dog,
Yeah, no.
what the fuck going on right now?
Nah. Yeah, so that's how that happened, with it being screwed down. And plus, screwed was hidden back then, you know?
Yep.
Shout out to the whole Houston movement. Again, I was inspired by that, you know what I'm saying? The horns and shit from what y'all was doing, the Jeezy records, the Trap or Die, you know, Shawty Red and all, what they was doing, the horns and shit, that's everything I was listening to. I just did it my way.
Yep.
Every day I'm hustling.
And
Every hustle.
So you had to chop it because it was the tempo grids right there. So
yeah,
you chopped
right.
it.
Every day hustling.
Right.
Every
That makes sense.
day I'm hustling. Every 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 day.
Insane, bro.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
The craziest thing, it sounds already mixed. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
really, yeah.
Maybe because I heard it so many times, this shit sound like they ain't even have to mix it. It's crazy.
That's a long intro. Well, that's the hook too, so. Yeah.
Hard.
Anything else? Oh, and then so yeah, I did that, and then I did the intro. And the intro is basically it's the sound that I used earlier. And I said, I said to myself, this is a smart moment. I remember this moment. I'm proud of myself. Good job, man. Proud of you, boy. That was a smart moment, right? Because I use his techniques to this day, and I picked it up from Max Martin. Was like recycle. Just recycle what you have already. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I did that at a young age. So the horns is already in there, right? So I just said, fuck it, just take the horns and just something like that. Well, y'all know the record. Go download it. Come on, let's do it again. Y'all got the vibe. Yeah, so again, thank you for forcing me to go down this memory lane.
Man, it's history in the making. We're going to keep making history, and this is BackTrak.